نمرة التليفون 0911-986-986 أو تبي رسل رسالة على نمرة 0913-986-986.
You tuned in and locked on to the eye of South Sudan, and it's a brand new dawn.
The Dawn on iRadio.
Hello and welcome to the Dawn Show on iRadio. Today is Friday, the 16th of May 2025. I am Alhadi Hawari, sitting in for my colleague Emmanuel Gezefakile. Well, I am glad you're part of the Dawn programs, which as every weekday from 6 to 8 a.m. To comment on any story featuring today's program, simply call 0911-986-986. For text messages, send to 0913-986-986. You can also stream this broadcast live by logging onto our website, www.iradio.org. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba. Yes, coming up on the Dawn today. Today is the SPLA Day, which marked on May 16 every year. It is recalled when in 1983 some mutinies broke out in the barracks of Sudanese army in the southern regions, most notably in Bor and also at Ayod, Pochala, Wankai and Bibor. The mutinies were commanded by Major Carbino Kwanyin and Bol and Major William Nyon Banye. صباح الخير لكل مستمع في كل مكان. الليلة يوم الجمعة اللي هو يوم 16 مايو 2025. أنا معكم الهادي حواري نيابة عن زميلي منال جزفكيلي. أنا سعيد أنك تكون جزء من برنامج الدون الصباحي اللي بيجيك من الساعة 6 للساعة 8 لتعليق لأي واحد من القصص الخبرية اللي بيجيك في برنامجنا الليلة. اتصل في تليفون 0911-986-986 أو رسالة نصية في تليفون 0913-986-986. ممكن تسمع لنا أونلاين من خلال الموقع بتاعنا www.iradio.org. ممكن تتابعنا برضو في اكس @iRadio جوبا. ما تنسى الليلة 16 مايو اللي هو يوم بتاع الجيش الشعبي، وهذا هنسمع فيه كثير وكثير، لكن الآن هو زمنك بتاعت Residence Report.
Good morning, it's iRadio.
Yes, indeed it's iRadio لكل مستمع في كل مكان. خلينا نسمع منك. Yes, hello, good morning. صباح الخير. Yes, do call us on 0911-986-986 و 0922-986-986. ده طوالي بيجيبك داخل استديوهات iRadio في برنامج الصباحي دون. Yes, hello.
iRadio صباح الخير. Good morning. الهادي حواري.
صباح النور.
باتيستا أرمانو من قرية الخضراء.
مرحبا بك يا باتيستا.
أولا تحية بتاعي لك وناس البيت في iRadio هناك.
نعم.
وكل أصدقاء بتاعك وكل أخوانا اللي موجودين معهم في iRadio. سلام لأسرة بتاع iRadio.
مرحبا بك.
وسلام الثاني بمشي لكل أصدقاء بتاع برامج اللي بدقوا في فترة صباحية كده، الدردشة الصباحية بيتصلوا كله على راسهم سلطان جوزيف وسلطانة ماما ماريا بقيادة بتاعهم. أنا بستلم كل أصدقاء بتاع برنامج دون الصباحي. وسلام لكل مستمعين لمن أكثر من المتصلين، كل مستمع جنب راديو هاتي كلي سلام بتاعي يوصل له. وبقول إنه يعني الشكر برجع لك كمان. الليلة أنت قعدت في محل بتاع أخوك إيمان الجزء وكيله، ما عارفين وين، لكن إن شاء الله يكون خير.
ده احتفل بالجيش الشعبي.
أوكي.
نعم.
بارك كويس.
نعم.
أنا دار أقول تحية لكل أسر بتاعت الجيش الشعبي، والتحية الخاصة بمشي شديد لأسرة بتاع قائدنا الرائد الدكتور جون جارن دمابيور، وكل الناس الفقدوا ناس في نضال الطويل ليل. الأبطال ليل دماء بتاعهم، أبطال ليل دماء بتاعهم يهو الليلة نتيجة بتاعه اللي احنا فيه. فأنا بتمنى إنه في السنة ده يكون سنة كويس ويكون سنة خير وبركة لكل القوات النظامية. وأنا داير العفو والعافية يكون في بين كل القوات النظامية. أنا دايرهم يبقوا مع بعض مربوط واحد زي جيش كبريد واحد في باكو بتاع كبريد واحد، أو زي مكشاش المربوط مع بعض. خلافات الكثير ناس يكلوا وناس يتوحدوا عشان بلد دار يمشي لقدام. ده رسالة بتاعي، بتمنى إنه العفو والعافية يكون فيه بواسطة بتاعي الليلة، وإن شاء الله بلد يمشي لقدام يطلع برا الأمان. شكرا كثير. جراسيا.
نتمنى ذلك باتيستا هرمانو. هلو راديو.
كبير الامين.
كبير النازحين.
الهادي عوار عبد السلام.
12 سنة في مخيم بتاع النازحين ما سنوات سهلة.
يا اخي مبسوطين نسمع صوتك، الصوت الذهبي الحنجري القوية.
تشكر يا مجوكيان، تشكر كثير.
مبسوطين بصوتك، و يعني ربنا يحفظك ويبارك العيال بتاعك، ونيابة عن زميلك جوزيف ايمانويل جزء اكيله برضه بنحييك في الاستوديو وكل العاملين. انا اتفارق كويسني في منقتين. نشكر ربنا ما في اي بطال، وانا بسلم بحيي كل الاصدقاء بتاعي، ناس بنجان هناك وبشو وديفيد ماكوك في واو، انكل جوزيف، ماما ماريا، جوزيف المونكي، ابو جاز المايندو جاز، وجيمس دوار، وكل الاصدقاء. الهادي انا بس داير اعمل اثنين. عندي زول اللي بقوله كفاره، وبرضه انا بحيي جيش شعب.
نعم.
اول حاجه انا بقول كفاره لمحاضر في جامعه بحر غزال اسمه بنانسيو بوز جاي. الزول اللي يتعرض للضرب من قبل زميله في جامعه برضه محاضر، طبعا زول محاضر في جامعه بحر غزال هناك. كلامنا شفناه في وسائل الاعلام. طبعا ظاهره شويه غريب انه الناس في درجه المحاضرين انه زول درجه الغضب انه زول يضرب زميله ضرب مبرح. طبعا الناس كله شافوه. فانا ما سميت المقوق ما قال حاجه فوق، عندي المقوق شغال هناك، فما سمينا المشكله شنو حاصل. ليه حصل؟ قال في تحقيق، لكن لسه ما سمعنا اي حاجه. نتمنى انه زول ده يعني يكون بخير، ما يكون ضرب كبير في الراس. طبعا شفناه حاجه طبعا مؤسفه، يعني انه في تهديد بالقتل وكلام كثير يعني. لكن بنعمل انه طبعا المحاضرين ديل يعني غمة الوعي في الدولة وفي البلد. يفترض لما يكون في خلافات ما تصل لدرجة بتاع يعني زي طلاب في جامعة، ما الكلام ده ما مقبول.
نعم.
وما كويس. أول حاجة. نمرة اثنين أنا بهي المراحيم شهداء بتاع جيش شعبي. لما نقول جيش شعبي نحن قاعدين جيش شعبي، الجيش شعبي المدربين طبعا عندهم أفواج كويس، يدربوا في الأفواج يعني معروفين، وناس بالفيض ضاحي بحياة بتاعه من أول شرارة بتاع طلقة إنه جنوبين دايرين حق بتاعهم. المناضلين اللي ماتوا وما ضاقوا إنه جنوب السودان بكون كيف في زمن ده زي ما نحن هسه عايشين وجينا لمسناه وهم لمسوه. فأنا ما كنت ما أعرف حتى التمنيات بتاعهم كان بيكون كيف. هم كان بيتمنى جنوب السودان يكون بنفس الصورة ولا كان بيكون بصورة مختلفة. وأنا بحيي كل المعوقين اللي لسه حيين، البترز، ناس يعني متقاعدين، باقين مكسرين، باقين ذاته عيانين، باقين ذاته نصه يعني رفاق في قطر النار. يا هو نفس الرفاق بتاعهم بيتمنوا بثروات بتاع جنوب السودان لسه اللي قاعدين حيين، والرفاق بتاعهم المعوقين مكسرين في بيوت ولا جايبين خبرهم ما في أي حاجة. فنقول لهم مبروك. هذا هو جنوب السودان، لكن برضو ما بنيأس فوقه. فبدمكم بمجهودكم بنضالكم انتم ثلاثة البلد ده بقينا أحرار، رغم انه في متاعب في مشاكل يعني في حاجات كده ما حتى ان احنا ذات ما مبسوطين انه ده ما الدولة اللي كانت بنعطل فوق من اجله. فاني ربنا يبارك لسه الحيين ديل، وربنا برضه يكون مع أسرة الشهداء يكون معهم كلهم. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا جزيلا لك هناك مجوكيان. هلو يا راديو. هلو. نعم. في بعض من الرسائل المستمعين اللي بيشاهدونا اونلاين، وده من خلال متابعتهم عبر الفيسبوك. في زور رسل رسالة وهو بيقول نعم. خلينا نشيل مكالمة. هلو يا راديو.
Welcome back, my friend. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, David Magog. Thank you.
Good morning to all the regular callers, the listeners, and the writers.
Yes.
And happy 16 May. This day is the most important day that have really give the right to the people of South Sudan. And I would like to greet Mama Maria, Sultan Joseph, Majogian, Kushuk, Banjang, Duor, the rest. Respond to what Majo was saying. This one was just a joking between these two lecturers because both of them were the friends, and we don't know how did they really become to that level. But in the real sense, it is now being modernized until it's reaching to the level of other thing of hatred or hate speech in social media. But otherwise, they are from one family of the University of Barikzal. But administration now is just making the procedures of how to solve the problem. Coming to the important day, the 16th May, my brother, our liberators were fighting for almost 38 years. 17 years of Anyanya 1 and 21 years of SPLA until we got independent. But our question is this the South Sudan we were fighting for, or do we have another South Sudan ahead of us? If it is the one, why the government doesn't give what is so-called services delivery? Because the time of liberation, all the citizens were promised that give us logistics and we will compensate you by giving you schools, clean drinking water, hospitals, roads. Nobody will go to a different country. You will enjoy the fruit of the independence. And at the time of referendum, all of us were informed that you will be the first-class citizen in the country. By now, government employees don't have salaries. Those who do go for treatment don't have medicine. The children who don't have their fathers are not general or honorable are now not getting quality education. The question is, what were our liberators died for? If they stand up now or if they raise up from death, will we not go to the court? Will they not ask those who remain behind, what are they really doing now for them? That means those people died in vain. So my request to our leaders is, let them give peace a chance. Let them implement the agreement. Let them forgive each other, and we go for election so that we choose those who will take care of the people of South Sudan, who will have accountability and transparency, good governance, that will take care of the people of South Sudan. The MPs who will represent the citizen of the nation, not the only executive who will work for themselves, but can make the budget for the people of South Sudan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, there, David Magog. Hello, Radio.
Ladi Hawari, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. Do it.
Yes.
Kevin,
Tamam.
how is the area?
Well, I just joined David Magog yesterday in Wow. I'm
Okay.
currently in Wow.
That's good. So celebrating there.
Brother, we cannot celebrate. Maybe few elites are the ones going to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
But it really reminds us that this day was the day people of South Sudan feel a serious and severe marginalization. And when we achieve it, unfortunately, there are some people who also took the same initiative that makes South Sudanese rebel to this time, repeated the same scenario of Sudanese by then. So it is very unfortunate. Before I comment there, I would like to give you update on what I got on the road.
Yeah, please.
Hawari, when I left Juba to border of Lagos State, there are still multiple checkpoints there. The only state that has implemented zero checkpoint is only Lagos State, to be honest, because when I reach Lagos State, they have only two checkpoints. One between the one that in Central Equatoria, that bordering Central Equatoria, and the other one that is bordering Warabi State in that place called
there is a certain bush there. How do they call it? I forgot the name. Rolchwara call. So that of Rolchwara call and that one of Tekega, they are the only two that I found. When you come to Toin, the same checkpoint by then, the one is still there as we speak. Nothing being removed from this checkpoint. You come to Wow, there were places that were having checkpoint. These places, I got them burned to hatches, and there are no people, but few individuals are returning, and majority are not yet there. Like a certain place there, when you left a area called, how do you call it? There is a Payam there, or the county, when you left that side of military training side, you come along, there is an area there. By then, there was a checkpoint. That checkpoint is not there. But in Wow, anyway, somehow, those places, people are just returning, putting some shelters, but not yet there as usual. So this is what I got on this side. Coming to the day that really make us South Sudanese today, this day is supposed to be celebrated when we are seeing our kids going to school, when we see our kids being treated in a good hospital, when we also have food, sufficient food with us available, that even have surplus, when we see our government doing the duties that are done by the government that really have a vision. Unfortunately, the vision of John Garang was just carried by John Garang alone, but I don't know whether this vision was put in favor. This were the day we should reflect on how we left the marginalization to this time, when we still have the same problem that we were facing by then in Sudan, only few elite and having a division among the communities, describe communities being friendly, hostile, and doing nonsense that are not even help people. So it is very unfortunate, and we call upon the people to make sure we unite our rank as a citizen. We do what is required to be done by the citizen. Leaving ourselves being divided all the time is a pride to the elite that are benefiting to the country resources as well as power that they are enjoying wrongly. So we need to unite and do something that will make us one citizen that can pursue one agenda that will really make people feel happy, all of them, not one person.
Yes.
And also make us to be a first-class citizen, all of us, rather than individual to be first class and the rest are neglected. Thank you.
Thank you, there, James Ador from Wow, town of Western Baragazali State. There is some messages here in Facebook page. There is message from Guy Yen. Bigul, good morning. I am watching you live from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Thank you there, Guy. Honorable Ayom Peter Elisha. Bigul, happy 42th anniversary of SPLM to you and the studio and to the listeners, regular callers and writers, plus the rest of our radio staff. I am forgetting the South Sudanese within and across the globe. We are not afraid, Alhadi Hawari, meaning nothing bad in our area. I am live from Tongping residential area in Juba. Thank you there, Honorable Ayom. Firi Salatani mean Joseph Lokelengi. Joseph Lokolengi. Bigulu, good morning, Alhadi Hawari, and good morning to the listeners of iRadio. Happy 42th anniversary of the SPLA. Alhadi Hawari, we're celebrating this 16th May 2025. We also need to recall our hero who brought peace to our country. Call me Joseph Lokolengi Sarapino. Yes, Loga Lobang from Alanya County, Loguli Buma. Thank you there. Firi Salamin Olinga Abu Jeshua. Bigul, good morning, Alhadi Hawari. Thomas, plus listeners of iRadio. Not forgetting regular callers, Facebook commenters. And then I'm Oling Abu Ilia watching you live from Wow. Yes. In my area, Jebel Khair, people are okay. Happy 16 May to soldiers who fought for South Sudan. And may the soul of those who fought for South Sudan rest in peace. Thank you there, Olinga. Firi Salatani min Triple ATM. Good morning, Alhadi Hawari. It has been a long time, brother. Yes, indeed. Triple Tem. Welcome back to the studio. My greetings to you, Alhadi, Hawari, and all the listeners and regular callers of our radio. I salute those who have fought their life, blood, time, and everything for this country, South Sudan. Happy 16 May to the late Carbino Kwanyin Bol and all Matthias alive from Mayana Boone, Twitch County of Warabi State. Thank you there, Triple Tem. Firi Salamin PST aid. This is a day the Lord has made to be rejoiced and glad indeed. Thank you there. Orubi Daniel. Good morning, Alhadi Hawar, and all the listeners, regular callers of our radio across the world. We are all praying for peace in the country. So what the people go for agriculture? Yes, watching you live from High Kodoro residential area, Gumba Sherikata. Thank you there, Orubi from Kodoro. Firi Sala Minangui Kwajangui. Good morning, Alhadi. Good morning, Iridi. I'm watching you live from Wow. My greeting to you in the studio and all the listeners, writers, and all the callers of Iridi. My regards to Marco Ariat Piol in Juba, James Dwyer in Juba. And lastly, to my uncle Kwachangui in Juba. David, there is a message also from David Tristan. Good morning, Iridi. Greetings to Mama Teresa Oriomo in Gudele, and second, and Auntie Katerina Oriomo and Wow, High Nazareth. Thank you there, David. Fili Salamin Leon, good morning. Happy 43. This is the 42 anniversary of SPLA. Fili Salamin Tournament Tweak. Montuke, Bigul, good morning, I read you. I am watching live in Juba. Peter Ongum, Bigul Alhadi. Good morning to you there, Emmanuel Joseph Akila. And this is Alhadi Hawari there, Peter Ongum. Bigul 16 May of 16 May in the name of our independent day, as well as the name of God Almighty. Well, I am watching you live from Alela Tony Payam under Ju River County. Wow. Alhadi here in our area, we are all good. And lastly, pass my regards to all the listeners, regular callers of our radio across the country. Odell, Windy, Nito, Kel, good morning, Alhadi, how are all the listeners of our radio? And happy 16 May to all South Sudanese. Our martyrs died to liberate this country. We are proud of them. Let our current leaders reflect back and work for people of South Sudan. Leave their personal interests. Watching live from Wow Town. Thank you there, Odell. Very salamin, Daniel Diukwal, Bigul. Somebody help me with, no, Daniel, please mention for me from where you were listening to us, and then I can give you the frequency. Rafael Joseph, Bigula, good morning. I radio. I'm watching live from Wow. Hi, Bazia Jadida. Happy 42th anniversary of the ASPLM. Peter Majoko Marau Chiliu. Good morning, Alhadi Hawari, with all our radio listeners across the country, and wish you a happy commemorative day of 16 May. I'm watching live from Juba, Qiyada, Jamuz. سبت باب يقول صباح الخير الهادي هواري وكل مستمعين ومستمعات راسهم بيفروت بنجان كوشوك وشاويش وحسين قريش وخدنا خاطر أغسطينو كاي مشار بمناسبة ذكرى 42 للجيش الشعبي. أحييكم تحية النصر والعزة والكرامة. إن هذا النصر العظيم ثمر صمودكم وصبركم وتضحياتكم الجسيمة ونتائجها استقلال البلاد. إنه شعب لا ينكسر. لقد وقفت مع الجيش بكل شجاع واقدم على مختلف أطياف المجد والخلود لشهدائنا الأبرار اللي ضحوا بأرواحهم في سبيل الوطن. والتحية لقواتنا اللي حافظت لحد عاش جنوب السودان حرا مستقلا والمجد للوطن. مجد لك أيضا ثابت. فرانسيس جون أدريانو بيقول happy for not 43 is 42 anniversary to the SPLA, to all South Sudanese. John De Cirino, good morning, I radio. I'm watching live from Kampala. Thank you there, John De Cirino. Firi Salamin Gore, the caring child. I salute and give my vote of thank to our special heroes and heroines, and the whole special place in our hearts for their determination, resilience, sacrifice, sweetened blood shed. We are absolutely proud. Dr. John Garema Bior, Carbino Kwanyin Bol. Yes, Abraham Jongoro Deng Nial, William Nyon Bany, Arok Ton Arok, Rebecca Nyandeng Garang. Thank you for the deliverance from the hands of foreign people. We celebrate you. Thank you there Guero. نعم في رسالة تاني هنا من واحد مستمعين اسمه مانو الهاج بيقول good morning Alhadi and everyone at the studio. Happy 16 May to all South Sudanese. May this day bring everlasting peace to this country. Watching live from High Sujun, Juba. Thank you there. كواج رومانو بيقول صباح الخير الهادي حواري التحية من واو لولاية من ولاية غرب بحر غزال. نحن أصبحنا بخير الحمد لله. تحيات لكل المستمعين آي راديو. شكرا رومانو بيتر. رومانو شكرا كثير. كواج مجو كواج بيقول good morning آي راديو. There is no reason for 16 May if the country which took lives of Dr. John Greng, many others have now been brought only sufferings, chronic poverty and a global economic crisis to the citizens of South Sudan. While only very few people are enjoying the rain fruits by sending their children to outside the country for education, treatment, and tourism, our politicians should take examples from Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. Yes, that was Kwach, Major Kwach. في Honorable Pius Nika Low. South Sudan is starting yes في كثير من الرسائل لكن خلينا نمشي نشوف لبعض من الفاصل الإعلاني. في شاكوشا كيج اليوم 16 مايو نحيي ذكرى انطلاق الكفاح المجيد من عام 1983 حين بدأت مسيرة النضال من أجل الحرية والكرامة للشعب جنوب السودان. إنها لحظة وفاة للشهداء والتذكير بأهمية السلام على الوحدة وبناء وطن يستحقه الجميع. المجد لمن ضحى وتهانينا لكل من شارك في الكفاح في أي مرحلة من مراحل نضال شعبنا. رحم الله شهدائنا. أنا أحيي جميع الأبطال الأحياء. الذكرى 16 مايو سعيدة وتحايا وطنية من شاكوزا كيج من ملك حال. شاكوزا كيج شكرا جزيلا لك. في تعبان هيلاري جونسون بيقول good morning I radio I'm from High Tarawa. We give thanks to the freedom fighters and the heroes who found and fought for this land, South Sudan. May the Lord keep their soul rest in eternal peace, and those who are still continue with the peace, love, and harmony. Happy the 42nd anniversary SPLA Day. Long live South Sudan. نعم في رسائل عديدة لكن نمشي لفاصل ومنه نرجع لكم مرة ثانية بس كونوا معنا.
The Ministry of Health is conducting a commemoration of African Vaccination Week with a new vaccine introduction of pneumonia vaccine, targeting all children aged between 6 to 14 weeks. Take your child to the nearest vaccination center during the African Vaccination Week or Big Catch-up campaign.
Good morning, Mama Alice.
Good morning, Mama Ladu. Where are you coming from this morning?
I had taken Ladu for pneumonia vaccination at the health center to protect my child against pneumonia and meningitis. He was also vaccinated with other routine immunization vaccines at no cost. Is baby Alice already vaccinated?
Yes, she was vaccinated last month. Does she need to be vaccinated again?
Yes. She needs to be vaccinated with at least 3 doses at 6, 10, and 14 weeks to be fully vaccinated, immunized, and protected against pneumonia.
Really? I just heard from afar that there will be a vaccination campaign during the African Vaccination Week, but I was not keen enough to get the details.
You know, pneumonia vaccine is effective in preventing pneumonia and deaths in infants and young children. This vaccine has just been introduced this year, 2025. A lot of children were not vaccinated. Some even travel without being vaccinated. I wouldn't want to see any child get pneumonia.
I didn't know that pneumonia is very serious, that it can cause meningitis and even death.
Yes. Pneumonia is a life-threatening disease caused by bacteria or viruses. The signs are cough, fever, chills, and shortness of breath, which may be accompanied by chest pain when breathing or coughing. Children who survive may experience long-term effects on lung function and increased risk of respiratory conditions like asthma.
Asthma or lung function complication? Oh, that sounds scary. How can I protect my child from this dangerous disease?
The only way for your child to be safe is when your child and all children in your neighborhood are vaccinated with pneumonia vaccine.
I will do that immediately. Where can I take my child for this vaccine? Hope it is not late.
No, you are not late. Pneumonia vaccine and all the other routine vaccines are available at all government health centers in your areas. Tell your neighbors with children between 6 to 14 weeks to be vaccinated.
I'm glad you told me. I will take my child immediately to the nearest health center for pneumonia vaccination.
Bring your child to the nearest health center and protect them from pneumonia and other vaccine-preventable diseases. This message is brought to you by the National Ministry of Health with support from WHO, UNICEF, and South Sudan Women in Medicine.
Are you tired of the long queues while transferring money? Well, MTN Momo International Money Transfer is finally here. You can now send and receive money to Uganda or Kenya, or receive money from the rest of the world. Experience financial freedom and easy life with Momo. To access the service, dial star 200 star 1 star 3 hash.
This is iRadio.
iRadio.
Your eye on South Sudan.
Yes, indeed, you are on South Sudan. Good morning, Lasuba Memo, and happy SPLA Day.
Good morning, Alhadi Hawari.
What's up?
Well, what is coming at 7 o'clock, President Salva Kiir has called on citizens to uphold the values of the SPLA and dedicate themselves to building a peaceful, stable, and united South Sudan as the country commemorates May 16. Civil society organizations in Upper Nile State are calling on the judiciary to urgently deploy a resident judge to Malakal following months of legal vacuum that has left dozens of inmates awaiting trial. And a court in Thailand has issued 17 arrest warrants for people connected to a building of a skyscraper that collapsed during an earthquake in March this year. These and many more.
Thank you, Lasuba.
Happy May 16.
You too.
Good morning, it's iRadio.
Yes, indeed, لكل مستمع في كل مكان. Today is the SPLA Day, which is marked on May 16 every year. It is to recall when in 1983 some mutinies broke out in the barracks of the Sudanese army and the southern regions, most notably in Bor and also at Ayota, Pochala, Wankai, and Pibor. The mutinies were commanded by Major Carbino Kwanyin Bol and Major William Nyonbanya. On May 16, 1983, the Sudan People's Liberation Army was founded with the Sudan People's Liberation Movement as its political wing. John Garandi Mabior was made its first chairman and commander-in-chief. Carbino Kwanyin was appointed the second-ranking commander, and William Nyon its third in command. The SPLA aimed to establish an autonomous southern Sudan, initially within a united Sudan. In 1984, the first full-flagged SPLA battalion graduated in the village of Bilfam. The name Bilfam carried great symbolic importance for SPLA as the epicenter of the uprising. After Bilfam, the SPLA training camps were established at Dima, Bonga, and Panido. Its military actions against the Sudanese government became the second Sudanese civil war that would last until 2005. After the South Sudan gained independence in 2011, the SPLA became Army of the new country. The SPLA was renamed the South Sudan People's Defense Force SSPDF in 2018, partly after the SPLA split into so many groups fighting each other from 2013 to 2016. As of 2019, SSPDF comprises the Ground Force, Air Force, Air Defense Force, and Presidential Guard. Now, let us listen to His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit's address on the eve of the 42nd anniversary of the founding of SPLM, which was yesterday.
On the eve of 16th May, I wish to remind all of us that tomorrow marks the 42nd anniversary of the 16th May, a date imprinted in our national collective memory as the beginning of the long and determined struggle for our freedom. On this day, in 1983, the sons and daughters of South Sudan, under the banner of the Sudan People's Liberation Movement and Sudan People's Liberation Army, SPLA, rose in unity to fight against injustice, oppression, and marginalization. This day is not just a reminder of our past, it is rather a tribute to the courage, sacrifice, and vision of the country's heroes and heroines who paid the ultimate price so that we might live in an independent and sovereign South Sudan. We shall forever honor them. We remember them. We carry their legacy forward. As we reflect on this historic milestone, let us pay special tribute to our late founding members, Dr. John Garang de Mabior, Commander Kwanye Nabor, and William Yuanbang, and all of us who walked beside them through the most difficult and defining moments of our liberation journey. The SPLA was not a merely military movement. It was a vision for justice, equality, and self-determination. Fellow South Sudanese, while we celebrate the achievements of the past, we must also face the responsibilities of the present. The struggle that began in 1955 and then resumed in 1983 was for freedom, but also for unity, peace, and prosperity. Today, we are called upon to protect that legacy by working together to maintain peace, heal divisions, and advance development. Our young nation has faced many challenges, but we have also made significant progress. Through the implementation of the revitalized peace agreement, we are restoring hope and laying the foundation for a better future. As we celebrate the 42nd anniversary, I call upon all citizens, young and old, men and women, to uphold values of the SPLA and to dedicate themselves to building a peaceful, stable, and united South Sudan. Let this anniversary be a moment of national renewal. Let it remind us that despite our differences, we are bound together by shared history and a common destiny. May the spirit of 16th May live on in our hearts and actions. May God bless the Republic of South Sudan. Long live the legacy of the SPLM, SPLA. Long live the unity and freedom of our people.
Yes, may God bless the Republic of South Sudan. That was President Salva Kiir address of yesterday. And now let us listen to Kwal Manyang Juka, Senior Presidential Advisor, who is also a veteran. Kwal narrated to the story on how the former Anyanya officers started the SPLA movement and the purpose, objectives, and how the SPLA was buzzed.
The Southern Sudanese, the former Anyanya officers who were Sudanese in the army, they had started an underground movement where they were planning to rebel and separate the South. And that was started very early in 1974. Dr. John Garang was active in it. He was in Bushiri because the Anyanya component was in Bushiri. And the Sudanese army was in Grinti. In Grinti, there was a Sudanese army, Major General, that was commanding the force in Baragazal. It was deputized by Emmanuel Abur, who was a brigadier. So they had an underground movement, but when they realized that the army was being transferred to the north, which of course the northern Sudanese, they got a wind that plan that was underneath. So instead, they start now transferring the army to the south. And when they came to brought an army from the north to Bor, the forces of Bor, of Battalion 105, of course, is made up of people from all over South Sudan, especially Upper Nile in that particular. So they refused. Dr. John realized that their plan of rebel in the south and take over was supposed to be in July or August. But the one of Sudanese army wanted actually to move the force quickly. So when the battalion people, the 105, refused to be transferred, it was actually, the battalion was divided. Part of it was in Bibor, another was in Pachala, another company, another company was in Bentiu. So it was the battalion headquarters that was in Bor. So they refused, rejected. Army was sent from there. So Dr. John sent Carabino, who was in Pachala. Because Dr. John, Carabino, William Nyon, Rockton, Paterno. Carabino was a captain, but had just been promoted major.
Okay.
But Dr. John told him, now the commander of Battalion 105 was Northern Sudanese. He had left. The second in command was also Northern Sudanese. When they realized that there was this problem, he left also. The acting commander then was somebody called Benjamin Nyankot, who was an Anyanya officer, of course, being a Sudanese army again. But he had little education. Somebody also was not politically conscious and didn't want this, what the soldiers were doing, the NCOs. There's somebody also called Bulan Alier, who was a major, was a captain, who was on leave from Bentiu. He had family problems, and was sick. He had asthma. So he was given a leave and came to Bor. There was somebody called Alier Jok, a lieutenant from military college. He was also given. So permission. So there was nobody taking proper control. So Carbino was ordered to come to Bor by Dr. John.
From where?
From Pashala.
Okay.
To come to Bor and take over the command. When the army was being sent from Sudan by boat, and they came wanted to disembark, then Carbino refused, said they should not, because they were coming to relieve the force that was in Bor.
The 105.
105.
105.
Then they rejected and forced them to leave the harbor. If you disembark, we'll kill you. So they made contact with Sudan, and Sudan General Headquarters told them to proceed to Juba. But later on, an arrangement was made. They were convinced that you will not be transferred again, but let this army go to make their own camp on the other side, northern part of Bo Town. And the 105 was in the southern part of Bo Town. So that force company was taken to north of Bor, where they stationed there. Now this was a temporary arrangement because the general headquarters was not happy about this was a rebellion. So when they managed to convince these people to go and put up north of Bor, they were planning now to send in an army, big army, to come and arrest, disarm and arrest these people of 105. So they were organizing and transporting forces by air to Juba.
From Khartoum.
From Khartoum and other places. By air and to a size of a brigade.
That was 1983?
1983. Here the politicians felt concerned that this is going again to create war again. So they tried to say our people, the politicians, especially from Bor, this what these soldiers are doing is going to cause death to the population and undermine the peace that has already been established. So they tried to go and talk to the soldiers of Battalion 105. The soldiers, when they refused, and told them to return, otherwise they were going to shoot them. So they came back. The force was now being organized to Bor. Dr. John from there had to take permission that he was going to collect his wife. His wife was in Bor. They're in village in Panya, in his own village. And that is, so he was given a permission from there.
From the headquarters in Khartoum?
From the headquarters. They came here
to Juba.
To Juba. And Dr. John had very good relations with the senior military commanders in Khartoum. Being a very charismatic leader, I knew how to engage people and all that. So he was very friendly to them. So he was given permission. When he came to here, he came and put up with Major General Peter Shirillo. And Peter Shirillo was the second in command of the forces here in Juba here. Sadiq al-Banna was the commander. And then Peter Shirillo was the deputy. So Dr. John came and put up in the house of Peter Shirillo. They were friends. And 3 days used to go to play cards in the senior military club. And then later on, 2 days, then Cyril Benner called Dr. John, Colonel John. Why are you here, Dr. Colonel John? He said, Satek, I'm going to collect my wife. I've been given permission. So I want to go to Bor. He said, but have you not heard that your people in Bor are rebelling? He said, I've heard. Okay, how are you going? Are you going to join them? He said, no. I'm going to collect my wife. He said the forces are already across the river Nile. They are moving to Bor. How do you go? He said, there's no problem, I'll go and collect my wife. Be sincere, Dr. John, are you going to join the rebellion? Dr. John said, no. Dr. John said, but Satek, sir, if I go and collect my wife today, I go tomorrow and collect my wife, will there be any objection? Then Banner told him, Colonel John, if you go and collect your wife, you go today and come back with your wife tomorrow, then there's no problem. And that was on the 13th of May. So Colonel John went and told Carbino, prepare yourselves, prepare the force. The force is coming to attack you. And myself, I want to go to Langbar, which is where the other force is based. Because Abel Lear, who had been vice president but was relieved, and Lago became the vice president of the republic. Abel came to Bor and was trying to work on a stream that was flooding the area, to try to block it using the population. So he engaged himself trying to block part of the river. But again in Langbar there were officials of the Dutch who were also and the French who were digging the Jonglei Canal. So he said, I'm going there to engage those people so that they don't attack you from the rear. Dr. John went there. Now these forces, they left on the 15th. From Juba they came
to Bor.
Then the 1st Battalion, advanced one, came and attacked Bor. 16th of May in the morning, at 5 o'clock in the morning. They attacked and the fighting took place, and the commander of that battalion that was attacking was killed, and the force was dispersed in disarray. Many of them were killed.
By the
by the 105.
105.
Yes. And Carbino was shot in the arm. So Carbino was evacuated to the hospital, and from there was taken from the hospital to the Torch, where they was taken by boat. And then Dr. John then told the forces that were there, said, don't wait, you have not won the war. You have won the battle, but you have not won the war. More forces are coming. So don't remain, you better evacuate the town. Go out. So the forces, and they had actually run out of ammunition also. So the forces went out, and then from there he directed them to move northwards. So now forces started moving. Dr. John had already made, when he was in Khartoum, he had made contacts with the Ethiopians that he had to move. They want to take the government to rebel and take the country. If they fail, they want the support from the Ethiopians. So he came and told them, the battalion 105, those who fought, he said, move, we're out of town, and otherwise if you remain, the forces are coming from Juba, they are near to attack. Plus the forces that are already in Bor town who did not participate, they will also attack you at the same time. So you better move out from the town. So they moved, and they went to Panyago, to Kongor, with Dr. John, went with them, and directed them until they reached Ethiopia. This is how they went to Ethiopia. Dr. John played a very important role. Had he not come, these people would have fought the war, but would have not known what to do next and where to go to. They would have also dispersed to their villages, and that would have been the end of the rebellion. So they went to Ethiopia, and the Ethiopian received them. Of course, we were not the first to go to Ethiopia. In 1975, a battalion rebelled in Akobo, and Lieutenant Gordon Kong Chol rebelled with Vincent Kwany, and others. They rebelled and killed their commander, called Chol. Lieutenant was PSC, Abel Chol. They killed him, and then they deserted, ran to Ethiopia. And they remained in Ethiopia for 8 years. They made their camps there and without fighting a war, because there were no military support. The Ethiopians were not interested in rebellion because of the South Sudanese, that they would not benefit from that, the Ethiopians. And that would justify the Sudanese, their support to the Eritreans fighting the Ethiopian government.
Right.
So they did not support the rebellion of Gordon Kong. They were also not educated and all this. So that rebellion did not take place. But when Dr. John went with the forces, he was received at the border, and then with William Nguyen and Carabino. And now Dr. John was lifted from the border to Dr. Gambela, Carbino joined them, and later on William joined with the forces. They went on foot. From there, they got support from Ethiopia, because they say enemy of your enemy is your friend. So the forces that rebelled in 105, 104, because after 105, 104 also rebelled in Ayot under William Nyon. So they went there, Ethiopian received them at the border, and later on they had to form a movement called the SPLM, SPLA, Sudan People Liberation Army, Sudan Liberation Movement. It was a tactical move. Dr. John had an experience of Anyanya 1. What failed Anyanya 1 is because they were fighting to separate the South. Nobody supported them, because nobody in Africa was to support a secessionist movement. And this is why Anyanya did not get adequate military support. Even Germans who came, one of them was arrested by the Ugandans and sent to Khartoum, called Rolf Steiner, and was as a missionary, and was taken to court, was in prison for 20 years. So there was nobody supporting the Anyanya. They were only buying arms from Congo after the rebellion after the defeat of the army of Lumumba. So the Simba army, and this is where you come and find Medan Simba. This was when the Simba forces of battalion of Lumumba, Patrick Lumumba, they came to Ye, and then they were brought and put in that square. It was a place for military training. And then this is where the area became known as Simba.
That's why it's now called Medan Simba.
So they had no support. Now Dr. John said, let us not make a mistake of calling our movement the Southern Sudan People Liberation Movement. Let it be Sudan. Because with Sudan, there are so many marginalized people who will join us. And will not again be us fighting. And this, we want to overthrow the government. We'll get support from the enemies of
Sudan's government.
Of Sudan, of Numeri.
Numeri, back then, yeah.
So it was a tactical move. So this is why we managed to get arms from Ethiopia, from Libya, who were enemies to Sudan, and then adopted the manifesto of socialism, not communism, but socialism. And socialism had colors, where the African socialism, led by Nyerere and Kaunda, that was also African socialism. So we adopted the socialist movement policy to be socialist. That would also earn us arms from the socialist countries, because there was a conflict, or also a war, Cold War, between socialist or communist and then the capitalist, West and the East. So the contradiction, the first Anyanya war were purely Christians, religious war, led by Father Saturino, and he was killed at the border there. But the Christian world did not support, although they knew Christianity was being suffocated in the Sudan. Nobody came to support the Anyanya. So Dr. John said,
Good morning, it's iRadio.
Yes, indeed, it's iRadio. هنستمر نسمع للقائد العظيم كولمانيان جوكو بعد الأخبار بالإنجليزي مع لا سوبر ميمو. بس كونوا معنا هتعرف الكثير والمزيد والكثير.
I
from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good morning. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. President Salva Kiir has called on citizens to uphold the values of the SPLM-SPLA and dedicate themselves to building a peaceful, stable and united South Sudan as the country commemorates May 16. Civil society organizations in Upper Nile State are calling on the judiciary to urgently deploy a resident judge to Malakal following months of legal vacuum that has left dozens of inmates awaiting trial. And elsewhere, a court in Thailand has issued 17 arrest warrants for people connected to the building of a skyscraper that collapsed during an earthquake in March this year. This is stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Lasuba Memo, and now the news in detail. President Salva Kiir has called on the citizens to uphold the values of the SPLM-SPLA and dedicate themselves to building a peaceful, stable and united South Sudan as the country commemorates May 16. The head of state made the remarks on the eve of the day, also known as SPLA Day, when the then Southerners rebelled against the Khartoum regime of State Omar al-Bashir. The day marks the 42nd anniversary of the founding of the movement in 1983. The decades-long liberation struggle ended with the signing of the Comprehensive Peace Agreement in 2005 in Nairobi, Kenya, which led to the independence of South Sudan in 2011 following a referendum. In less than 2 years after independence, South Sudan descended into violence due to internal rifts within the former Sudan rebel group. A 2015 peace deal struck in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, brought the SPLM splinter groups together. Still a year later, the conflict renewed due to a lack of political will among South Sudanese leaders to implement the process. The incident prompted Khartoum, under the auspices of the regional body IGAD, to initiate another round of peace negotiations, resulting in the 2018 peace deal. However, 8 years later, the peace process still faces challenges marked by delays and 6 extensions. In March 2025, violence erupted in Nasir, Upper Nile State, leading to the arrest of key SPLM-IO leaders, including first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar. This has prompted regional and international bodies to warn of a potential all-out war. Meanwhile, the fate of the 2018 peace deal remains uncertain as violence continues to rage in some parts of the country. Reflecting on the significance of the SPLA Day, President Kiir urged the citizens to uphold the legacy of the liberation struggle founded on the principles of justice, equality, and self-determination. The head of state called on the citizens to protect the legacy by working together to maintain peace, heal divisions, and advance development. In a final appeal, President Kiir urged the citizens to set aside their differences. Civil society organizations in Upper Nile State are calling on the judiciary to urgently deploy a resident judge to Malakal following months of legal vacuum that has left dozens of inmates awaiting trial. They made the call upon their visit to Malakal Central Prison yesterday. During the visit, the Secretary General of the Civil Society Network, William Accord, raised concerns about the growing number of pre-trial detainees and worsening prison conditions. According to William, the only judge previously assigned to Malakal reportedly left the town for medical treatment several months ago and has not been replaced. When contacted by iRadio, Upper Nile State Minister of Information Peter Nyogo confirmed the situation. He acknowledged that the judge had left for treatment and cited poor working conditions, lack of funding, and inadequate accommodations as key reasons judicial officers avoid assignments in Malakal. According to the director of the Prison and Reforms Administration, the facility currently holds 133 inmates, 99 of whom are on remand, 35 convicted, and 12 juveniles. The lack of a judge has significantly contributed to the overcrowding in the prison. The civil society groups are now urging the national government and judiciary to prioritize judicial deployment to Malakal, warning that the continued delays are denying justice and worsening the prison condition. Meanwhile, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs has committed to reinforcing South Sudan's legal frameworks to bolster national governance and uphold the rule of law, following a directive from President Salva Kiir. During a briefing on current ministry programs and priorities, Minister Dr. Wekmamer Kwol outlined plans to work closely with colleagues to implement the ministry's mandate and ensure the protection of human rights across the country. He stressed the importance of unity and dedication in fostering institutional effectiveness and championing justice for the South Sudanese people. The minister's remarks followed President Kiir's call for a stronger legal frameworks to maintain institutional integrity and enhance public confidence, marking a renewed push for legal reforms aimed at consolidating democratic institutions within the country. This is iRadio Morning News. And now to the international scene. A court in Thailand has issued 17 arrest warrants for people connected to a building of a skyscraper that collapsed during an earthquake in March this year. The 30-story tower being built to house the State Audit Office was felled when Bangkok felt tremors of 7.7 magnitude earthquake that struck neighboring Myanmar. Authorities said they had recovered 89 bodies from the rubble of the tower, while 7 remain unaccounted for. Police investigating the cause of the collapse said the warrants were issued to people involved in the design, construction, and building supervision of the tower. Thai authorities have yet to release their findings on the cause of the building's collapse. Finally, top U.S. diplomat Marco Rubio says he does not have the high expectations for Ukraine-Russia peace talks due to be held in Turkey, and that Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin need to meet for progress to be made. He said after a meeting of NATO foreign ministers in southern Turkey, and I quote, "I don't think we are going to have a breakthrough here until President Trump and President Putin interact directly on this topic." Vladimir Zelensky confirmed Ukraine would send a delegation for the talks in Istanbul, but criticized the low-level delegation being sent by Moscow. Its head, presidential aide Vladimir Medinsky, insisted the Kremlin team had all the necessary competencies. This is iRadio Morning News. And to end this bulletin, here is a recap of the headlines. President Salva Kiir is calling the citizens to uphold the values of the SPLM-SPLA and dedicate themselves to building a peaceful, stable and united South Sudan as the country commemorates May 16. Civil society organizations in Upper Nile State are calling on the judiciary to urgently deploy a resident judge to Malakal following months of legal vacuum that has left dozens of inmates awaiting trial. And also a court in Thailand has issued 17 arrest warrants for people connected to a building of a skyscraper that collapsed during an earthquake in March this year. That's the end of iRadio Morning News. If there is a story or an event you would like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message at +211 925 287 It's also a WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for news in Arabic at 8 o'clock. I'm the Suba Memo. Thank you for listening.